Let's go to our first caller. We've got Scott in Safety Harbor. Hi, Scott. How are you?
Boy, long time no talk, Basil. How you been?
Very well. How you been?
I just needed a break. You know, I go at it pretty intensely, and
Right.
I stumbled across a couple of weeks ago. Someone mentioned Ford was way down. And I was trying to keep my mind off everything, but I couldn't help look at it. It was 890, then it dropped to 885, and I went in large. And
right.
I'm so blessed.
Wait,
Basil.
Scott.
I mean,
Scott,
went
did
up
you?
50
Scott,
cents. I'm like,
did you
gotta
go?
be kidding me.
Scott,
So
did you?
my question
Hold on,
to
Scott.
you,
Scott.
the
Did you go in
David
just
Copperfield of the stock
recently?
market? Do you see this as a little sign of strength in Ford?
Yes, I'm looking at Ford. Even General Motors did very well. Ford, Chrysler didn't do as well. But what I wanted to ask you is, are you in Ford after the decline to 820 and now on the way up, or did you sit through the decline?
No, Ford. I got in it at 880 a couple of weeks ago, and now it's over 9. So I'm
Okay.
doing well, and I want to go in even more.
Okay. So what I'm looking at, folks, as far as Ford is concerned, there was just bad news, and it went from the 10 of about 980 right down to under 820. Now it's come back in a V-shaped pattern. It's sort of stalled in the 960 area. It's trading at 951 right now. The weekly chart, this is the best I've seen the weekly chart in a long time. I do not like these spirals to the upside that stall for more than 3 bars. In this case, it would be the weekly. This is the second bar after the doji candle gap up of last week. So I'm looking at Ford, and I think, see, this is so important. The reason why I want you to take your call right away before I finish some of the other sectors in my overview is that it's going to be really important. If I look at Ford and I look at this monthly chart, F is the symbol for Ford. It's trading at 952. It's down a penny. Now, when I go to my major long-term chart, Ford had been down. I don't know if anyone ever remembers, but we had a wonderful host here at CFNN. And he was recommending Ford when it was, I think, under $1. It was an incredible, beautiful call. And it ran up to 1897. And then it kind of stalled. It made a U-shaped pattern. 1812, it retested at a peak D back in, I think it was probably January of 2014. And then it just made a steady move down. Now I've got in a Chapman wave left side, right side price time match. 882 was the low that I was talking about on the show just recently. Oh, so 869 was the low that was made back in August of 2012. And I made what I called a measured move to the right side in the Chapman wave from the 1044 low that was made on August of 2015. 2 years later, it's 1312 to the up. And now what we've got is it's 1 month late, but it is held. It went to $8.17. So it went below the 869 low that was made back in 2012, but it's now up at 952. So to me, that was a sign to say, okay, we've had a test. There should be probably one more test in the monthly chart. And that's going to be key because it has to hold $8 under, no matter what the circumstances are. So I'm just giving you the big picture. I know that you're shorter term trading, but I did want to show what I'd been looking at and the move, the very sharp move in 1 week from 820 up to the 950, 960 area. That is really important that it was able to do that, but it's going to be even more important to hold it. So this is what I'm going to say to you, because you sat through the decline and now it's coming back to where you bought it and now you're making money. I'm going to suggest that you should at least think of having some kind of a stop on a part of your position, Scott, if it goes under 826, if it closes under 826. And there's only one reason why. The weekly chart is just crossing positive in the MACD. The stochastic is good, but this kind of accelerated news-related move to the upside very often has to do some testing. It doesn't have to go back to the low of 820, but it might have to do a little testing at 920. So I'm just saying to you, if you want to add to it, Let's see what the market does tonight into tomorrow. If it takes whatever the news, political news is, with absolute alacrity, if it just treats it as if ho-hum, nothing to see here, folks. Market is the wages are increasing. The joblessness number is at record levels. This is very bullish, rather than looking at what I call the rotational slowness in different sectors. Then what we're going to be looking at is that Ford should become a participant on the next big move up, as well as some of the other laggers that have been really very poor for a long time, and in a sense are interest rate related, but they're also to do with earnings and wages and salaries, etc. If people are making money, they're going to be buying cars, and I think Ford should benefit. So I'm saying to you, you wanted to go in a little deeper. It's at 953. I don't want to spoil your methodology. I don't want to change it at all. I'm just saying I would rather give it a little bit of time. I know these sideways moves, they can last a long time, be very frustrating. I would prefer to see you add to the position with a fairly tight stop around about 938 to 932. And that's kind of where I would say that's the best risk reward, because if there's a rectangle formation that's unfolding, it should go from the 930s back to the 962, 63, come back to the 950s, and it should just wiggle around here for a little bit longer before it can build strength to go to the upside. I don't know if that helps you, but that's the way I'm looking at it. And it is on my watch list, because I too am looking at it and saying, hey, this is good action after being just horrible for a very long time.
Well, Basil, you're a wise man as usual. I'm going to go with that, and I will talk to you next week. I hope everybody in Florida gets out and votes, even if it's for someone that I don't like.
Okay, yeah, I agree. So I meant to mention one other thing. What I would do is that if tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, if whatever the market's doing, let's just say it's up 150 points, right? If the market is up and Ford is participating and it's at 963, then I would say to you, now you can add another position because it's acting very well. I'm just saying, I want to get through the next couple of days. Hope that helps. Thank you for calling, Scott.
Thank
we'll
you
be
very
right
much.
back.
Good to hear your voice. Bye-bye.
Thank you.